Welcome back, Questers. I got another D&D adventure to share with you. This one takes place for my home game, and there are 4 players you need to be aware of. There is Auric, the dwarf fighter. There is Gareth, the human cleric of light who sometimes breathes fire. Kana, the Triton druid, and Dash, the halfling bard, also played by my wife. Everyone is level 1 at this point, and a really quick recap with what happened in the very last session or quest that they did. They went to fight a bunch of rats in a tavern basement, and they found the one who was controlling the rats and killed him. And then they took his hat. But don't worry, they revived him. They're not that all bad. So this is the second session that we are having for this campaign that we're doing. And so with the start of this, everyone just kind of starts talking to one another, asking questions about their character, things like that. Nothing really too crazy to note from those conversations. But what happens is their point of contact approaches them, who's the one that gives them these quests. And this point of contact is King Rufus. There's a picture of him. King Rufus comes out to join in on the fun. Oh, yes, hello. How are you all doing? Please tell me about your adventures, please. Yes, I would love to know. It's been so boring here. I've been so alone. And what do my players do? They give him nothing but backhanded compliments, mainly coming from my wife. You may not be good at making friends, but at least you got a good personality. Oh, okay. And you're short. The funny bit that happened, though, is as they're backhanded complimenting King Rufus, one of my cats jumps onto the table right at that point. And my players in-game go, oh my gosh, where did this cat come from? And so at that point, it was decided that whenever King Rufus starts to have anxiety or needs some type of support, he casts his familiar, which is a cat named Madam Puff. And just like throughout the entire session, our cats were just playing around and jumping on our table. So every time a cat jumped on the table, we were like, oh, King Rufus is thinking of us. So once they finally settled down, AKA me telling them, hello, remember you guys have quests to do? And my players finally decide, you know what, we should probably go on one of these quests. So they choose the quest called Aggressive Livestock, which reads, we have received reports that Polville's livestock have begun to act aggressive towards their owners and the occasional passer. Figure out what is causing this sudden aggravation and help Polville gain control of their livestock once again. Their reward is 1 common magic item. Now, again, this is just a side quest that my players wanted to do, and this also takes place in Dash's parents' hometown. So Dash moved away before the parents moved into Polville, and so Dash doesn't really like consider that home, but I kept saying it was home, and she's like, it's not home, and I'm like, I'm sorry, wife. So the players get ready to head out, and as they're heading out to go to Polville, they get stopped by Team Justice. Team Justice is a spoof off of Team Rocket, and they are there to help support the players if they need anything. They offer their services to help them. They are 2 gnome paladins, by the way, and so conversation goes like, hello, players. Us, Gideon and Seraphina, are here to offer our services for this quest. No. Okay, off to chop more wood. They keep sending Team Justice to just keep going getting wood, and it's not doing anything. But Team Justice, they will get their moment to shine. And when they do, it's going to be beautiful. They head to Polville. And when they arrive at Polville, they find it's just a small farming town. They see no one in sight, and all of the buildings are like boarded up. They look around even more and they see majority of the fences and the coops that the animals were in have all been torn open or knocked down, and the animals are just roaming freely at this point. Dash says, are there any chickens around? I say yes, and Dash decides that he wants to round up the chickens and get them back into their coop. And I go, okay, that's totally fine. I'm going to need you to roll a animal handling check for me. And Dash rolls a 2 and takes 2 points of Legend of Zelda cuckoo damage. If you know, you know. Backstory for Auric. Auric spent 60 years guarding walls and just enjoys building walls and creating defenses, I guess, because he asks me if he could go and repair the fences. Yeah, sure, why not? Rolls a 10. unfortunately doesn't do that good of a job. It's a basic job, but he's not happy with it. Kana, the druid, decides to cast Speak with Animals on herself and decides to go talk to a cow to see what's been going on. Hi, cow. Hope you're doing well. I just wanted to ask, why is everyone just roaming freely? Where are your owners? The cow's response, inside. Stomach hurt. Kana tries to press the cow more to get more information out. I tell Kana to roll an animal handling check, and she rolls an 8. And the cow's ears go back and charges at Kana. Things are going great for the party right now. Gareth steps in and decides, hey, can I try to stop the cow and want to tip it over? He succeeds a strength check, rams into the cow tips over. Kana feeds an apple to a cow, and the cow stomach starts to subside, and the cow is happy. And how I describe what the cow is doing is the cow is on its back making little cat biscuits. So good. Happy moo. And Kana's just giving it all the belly rubs. Kana forgot what to ask the cow at this point. I look over to Dash and say, do you want to go see your parents? And Dash is like, I guess so. They head over to go to Dash's parents' place. When they come to the house of Dash's parents, they notice that the doors and windows, again, are all boarded up. Dash knocks on the door, asks if anyone's home, and they hear from the other side of the door, hello? Oh, Dash, is that you? Yeah, hi, Mom. Oh, Dash, it's so good to see you. Honey, come quick. Dash is here. Who's here? Oh, Dash, it's so good to see you. Wait, that's not how my dad sounds. Oh, yeah, sorry. This is Pop Pop. Pop Pop, go away. All right. Honey, come here. What's this? Oh, hello, son. How are you doing? Good. Hey, Dad, can you guys open the door so we can get in? I'm sorry, son. We can't do that right now. Okay. Hey, Gareth, kick down. Boom! Completely blasts that door open. And I just made the family just sitting there in the living room. The mom's knitting. Dad's reading the newspaper. Pop is in the corner. What was that? Dash is half-heartedly happy to reunite with his family. The mom is like, oh, I'm gonna go make dinner for you guys really quick. It's just been so long. The dad is asking Dash what he's been doing with his life. And then we get to Pop. And oh my gosh, Pop became my favorite persona to be during this session. Because Pop is just, spewing off nonsense. Back in my day, we didn't have kings and queens. We had lords. And we still hated them. Oh, okay. Now I remember one lord out there. He had a best friend. But unfortunately, that friend perished. Wait, Pop, did you say the lord that you knew had a friend who perished? Yeah, I did. I hated him. Could you tell me what happened to the king? Oh, yes. The king went and lived on until he didn't. Now, you might be thinking Pop was just being senile right there, but in reality, he was actually telling Gareth's backstory. Dash starts talking to the dad and asks what's been going on with the animals. And the dad keeps saying, oh, well, we don't know, son. We've just kind of went through our own routine of things, and then one day they decided to just act up. Okay, so what was the routine? Well, we would feed them, and then we would go get them water from the stream, and then we would just let them sunbathe. I don't know why I said sunbathing, but I did say sunbathing. And then I was like, that's how brown cows are made, and that's how you get chocolate milk. And I kid you not, they asked the dad like 3 times, asking, does he know what's happening? And I repeated myself the same thing that on the final time I said, I don't know. We just went on our normal routine. We gave them food, we went and gave them water, and then we let them sunbathe. Yes. Let's go check the food or the sunbathing to see if that's making the animals act up. I emphasized the word water to them, okay? And they went and checked everything else besides the one word I emphasized. And out of everyone, Kana, the druid, who's a Triton, is the one that goes, you know what? I think we need to go check the water to see if the water is making the animals act aggressive. Thank you. Oh, by the way, while this whole conversation is happening as well, to no surprise, Orc leans over to me and goes, hey, can I roll to see how many animals I get back in their pens? And I'm like, what the crap? Yes, Yes, you can. I love that for you. He rolls a percentile die and he gets 80% of the animals back. You know, good on you, Auric. Auric is like the true hero of a lot of these stories because he's the one like actually cleaning up the mess that's happening. So the party finally heads over to the river. They get to the river and Kana goes, now, is anyone here good at investigating water? Aren't you a Triton? Oh yeah. All right, here I go. And Kana gets ready to dive into the river. Gareth is like, we're not doing this, holds Kana back and says that there must be a better way to figure out if this water is what's causing the animals to act up because they don't want it to be poisoned or, hurt Kana in any way. Kana goes, oh, you know what? I have the perfect solution. She takes off her hat that she got from Gerald. And it's pretty much a magical hat. You get to pull out a frog, a rat, or a bat out of this hat 3 times a day. And so she chooses to pull out a frog out of this hat. Okay, this frog doesn't know who Kana is. It is not aligned towards her. It is just a wild animal. So what Kana does and goes, be free, frog, and throws it into the river. And the party all looks, and they're all seeing what's happening with this frog. And I roll, and I look up, and even I see that the frog bellied up to the top of the stream as it rolled a 2 for its constitution save. Yep, this thing is poisoned. Kana says, I didn't get enough information from that. Let's do another one. Kana is locked and loaded, getting ready to throw another frog into this poisonous river, when all of a sudden they hear a voice echo throughout the trees. And the voice asks the players, tell me, if a creature is smaller than you, does that mean it has less importance in life? Should we find out? They start to investigate where this voice is coming from, and they find that it is from a talking tree. Now, this talking tree is called Oakendew, and he's a tree guardian who watches over this side of the river. Now, some of you may be knowing where I got this one-shot from. It's from the new Dungeon Master's Guide. It's like the level 1 one-shot, so yeah, it's vaguely similar, but I definitely changed it up a bit. So if you haven't played it yet, or you're about to play it, like you might want to step away for a bit so that I don't spoil anything for you. But they start talking to this tree called Oakendew, and he welcomes them all to the forest. With open branches, he's so excited to see them. Auric immediately goes up to the tree and is like, wow, you would make some really good lumber for building up our home base. At first, Oakendew thinks it's a joke and, laughs it off. But no, it's not a joke. Because the entire party then teams up on Oakendew and starts explaining how that would be the smart thing to do. Like magical wood to build up the entire home base? Yeah, let's do it. Gareth finally comes to his senses. Thank you, Gareth. And is like, no, this isn't right. We can't do this to a guardian tree. Dash, who I should remind all of you is my wife, says, well, what if we just uproot him and take him to our home base and then plant him in front of our home base and now he's a tourist attraction? The party agreed. At this point, more conversation happens, but Oakendew is fed up. Okay, he's not happy with these players and how they are planning to take him away from his home or either chop him down so they can make magical lumber out of him. So what he does is just really quickly tells them what's going on. Hey, listen here. Up the stream, you'll find a cave. That's where the poison is coming from, all right? Now, what you need to do is go into the cave and destroy what is causing this poison, because the poison is what's making the animals act aggressive. Now, here's a root bridge that I will make that leads you directly to the cave. Now, get out! They get on the root bridge, and they begin to leave. But not before Auric goes up to Oakendew and marks an X on Oakendew's back. And he goes, I'll be back for you. And Oakendew begins to cry at this point. Not because he was going to get chopped down, not because he was going to get moved out, but because he promised his mom that he would never get a tattoo. When they get to the cave, they notice that there is a stream in the middle of this cave. And when they go in, they see this giant pinkish alien-like plant in the back of this cave. And they see that it continues to grow these flowers, and the petals of these flowers immediately fall into this water stream and they dissolve. And that water stream leads directly into that river. So this is the source of poison that they are trying to stop. But before they can get to that plant, what they notice off to the right of them is a big, aggressive brown bear. The brown bear comes around this corner and says, we forgot Kana still had Speak with Animals up, so I just did it again.
It's my plant. Get out.
Okay, one brown bear, that's fine. But then to the left of them, they see another brown bear. And through Kana's head, she hears this brown bear say, must protect home, must protect son. Then a baby brown bear cub pokes its head around the back of the mom, and it is just so cute. Wait till you find out what happens to the baby brown bear. Kana, still having Speak with Animals, starts talking to both of the bears. Oh, I'm sorry, we're not here to hurt any of you. We just need to get rid of that plant, and then we'll be on our way.
No trespassers. Eat trespassers.
Oh, okay. So you're not up for negotiation, okay? Mama Bear, do you need help with anything?
No. Danger. Get out.
Oh, no. We're here to help you. I promise.
Are you friend or are you foe?
Oh, we're friends. I promise. See, we'll go kill this other brown bear for you. I asked Kana if she says that out loud in her Speak with Animals brain. Yeah. You know, I think Rufus would really enjoy a brown bear rug. Okay, roll initiative. So the first round of combat happens and the plant goes first. The plant shoots its vines out and begins to try to grapple the mama bear and the baby bear. Mama bear succeeds her strength check. Baby bear does not succeed the strength check and begins to get wrapped up in these vines. Next up is Kana, and she immediately decides to cast Fog Cloud centered on the male brown bear. So Fog Cloud makes it so if you walk into the fog, you are blinded, right? So here's what happened. In the first 2 turns of combat, half of the map is difficult terrain, or you just can't see. Well, great. Oric, who is the awesome fighter and protector that he is, decides to take on the male bear in the cloud all by himself. He's willing to go and attack it with disadvantage. He just knows he needs to get that brown bear out of them. So they're both in there, and as rounds are passing, they're both swinging at each other. It's usually one would hit and the other one would miss. And then the next round, the one would hit and then the other one would miss. And it's just getting to the point where the next round that happens, whoever hits first is going down. The mama bear is trying to free her child, but then the mama bear fails one of the strength saves when the vine attacks the mama bear, and now the mama bear is getting wrapped up in these vines. We look back over at the baby cub, and the vines are up to the baby cub's neck. The mama bear is barking, trying so hard, trying to save her child, and nothing. And then Kana, being the amazing druid that she is, decides to go and attempt to save the baby cub. She pulls out her trident, she sticks the trident into the vines, and rolls a natural 1. Also gets attacked by the vines and is also grappled. Things aren't looking great. Dash is attacking the base of this plant with his 2 daggers and begins to, move away from the plant too, trying to not get hit. Dash is doing a really good job avoiding these vines, but unfortunately, one attack hits and I roll maximum damage and it knocks Dash down. Dash is face down in the water, then gets wrapped up in these vines and hoisted up in the air. Dash is rolling death saves. Now, Gareth is still there. He's trying. He is still trying his best because he also goes after the plant and decides to use his breath weapon, his fire breath weapon on a plant, mind you, and plants don't usually like fire. The guy rolled a 3 for damage. It's not going well, but don't worry, he's got guiding bolt. Yeah, I missed 2. It missed 2. And now we come down to what I believe is the final round of combat. Whoever gets hit first is going down. And I think I'm about to TPK my party. And that was never the goal. I don't want to TPK the party. That is not my job as the DM to TPK the party. I am also on their team and I'm hoping they succeed. Everyone does one last ditch effort. And let me tell you, the dice came in clutch for this group. Kana, still grappled by the vines, decides to cast a cantrip Gust where she believes Auric is standing. I tell her, all right, you're gonna have to roll to see if you cast Gust in the right place. She rolls a 19. The Gust makes a little pocket for Auric to see clearly, and I made it so that Auric could see the outline of the brown bear to attack because it was just so awesome, and I didn't want to TPK the party. Auric, now seeing the brown bear, attacks the brown bear. Auric hits this male brown bear for massive damage. And how I described how he takes out the brown bear was he readies his weapon, and we see a cinematic shot of the brown bear sticking its head out of the fog. And as it sticks the head out of the fog, all of a sudden, you're cut into the future where you see the head of this brown bear over the fireplace of Rufus's fireplace in the Rufus's castle, okay? Beautiful. Connor and Auric coming together to take out that brown bear was fantastic. Well, now, what about the mama bear and the baby cub? Well, the mama bear finally gets out of these vines and is able to start attacking the vines that are holding her cub down. The cub, you can only see like the snout, okay, of this cub. But the mama bear, just, mama energy. I totally understand that. Goes after these vines and rips them to shreds, saving the baby cub. And luckily, I rolled well that the mama bear understood that Kana was trying to save them. So the mama bear uses another one of her attacks to strip away from the vines, saving Kana as well. Now, we're at Gareth, the plant, and Dash. Dash is on 2 death saves. He's being hanged up in the air. Gareth tried his best to save Dash, and it didn't work. Everything comes down to this, because it's either my wife rolls well enough to get at least 1 success, or if she rolls bad, Dash is done. And so Gareth decides, you know what? I'm going to charge at this thing. I am going to jump in the air, and I'm going to bring my weapon down in the middle of this plant, and I'm going to cut this thing in half. And we all kind of went, yeah. Sure you are, buddy. Gareth, for the first time, rolls a natural 20, doubling his damage, jumps up in the air, slices this plant in half in 1 hit. Full HP. Plant is gone. Gareth did something, okay? Gareth did something in this campaign, and it was the highlight of the night. The plant dies. Dash falls from the vines, lands on the ground. Gareth goes and heals him. Dash is just happy he's not dead. They all worked so well together, and Dash just is happy to be breathing. I'm so proud of my party. I really, really am, because they really thought of each other and how they were going to help each other. The support classes, the druid being able to open a pocket for the fighter so the fighter was able to roll with advantage to take out that brown bear. That's amazing. The hero isn't just Auric. The hero is also Kana, who is that support character to make that happen. That was so great. My party then asks me, do we get any loot? In my response, I say, get out! Mama bear has had enough. And so the party goes, yep, all right, and begins to head out. So they head back to Oakendew, and they explain to Oakendew what they did. And they are so proud of themselves. And then they say, we're coming for you next. Mind you, the party just got done with a very hard battle. And they're all low on hit points. So Oakendew starts to shake back and forth, trying to drop acorns on their head to get them away. And they can't risk that. They can't risk taking even 1 point of damage at that point. So they all start to run. But they grab some of the acorns, and surprisingly, the acorns have a magical property to them. If you consume one of these acorns, you gain the benefits of a healing potion and the benefit of a lesser restoration. So Oakendew was supposed to give the players each an acorn as they go and defeat this plant. But because they made him so uncomfortable and how they talked about how they were going to chop him down, he didn't give it to them. And you know what? My players were like, you're absolutely right. That was the right decision. So my players go back to Poville. They go to Dash's parents' place. They talk to the parents, say what's been going on and how the animals should return to normal. They have a nice, well-cooked meal as Mama Dash prepares food for everyone, and they all listen to Pop stories.
Back in my day, we didn't have teleportation circles or magical stones. We had feet and legs, and we used them. And we had owls, and then we sent our owls to go talk to one another. And you didn't know if someone got the owls because the owls were feral and, they were wild. So you would attach who are you? Why are you in my house?
The players then head back to their home base where we end that quest there. Or so I thought, all right? I thought the story was done. No, the players go back to their home base and they go tell Team Justice, which remind you, have always been sent to go gather wood. All right? The storytelling is coming full circle right now. They go to Team Justice and they tell Team Justice, hey, there's this tree, but that's not how it happened. What happened is the players all thought of that at the same time. And so everyone's laughing. Auric is the only one who can actually make a sentence through his laughing. And so this is pretty much how the conversation went when talking to Team Justice from Auric's point of view. So Team Justice, what we need you to do is we need you to go to Poville, and we need you to go find this tree. And we need you to the tree has an X on it, okay? And you need to go chop down that tree, and you need to bring it back here. And it's a talking tree. And if you do that, you're going to help so many people. Hear ye, defenders of light, blah, 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 blah. Without question, once Team Justice hears that they're going to help people, they're off. They have their own little theme song and everything too. It's fantastic. Now, I tell my players that they need to roll at least a 20 to be able to accomplish this. And so what we did is we all looked around, and I have these cards that have numbers 1 to 20 on them. It's pretty much a D20 for cards. It's great. I love it. And I say, should we flip over a card? And the party's like, yes. So we're all huddled around the cards. I grab the card and I flip it over, and it's a 16. Oh, it was so close. We were 4 away, because part of me, even though this was crazy and I wasn't expecting this, part of me wanted this to happen as well. And so I'm like, okay, well, here's what happens. Team Justice comes back, and they have a tree. And Team Justice is claiming that it is a talking tree, because how could Team Justice go out and just grab a random tree? They were specifically told the tree could talk. So what do? Freaking Brain Blast. That's what I do, because since Team Justice is based off of Team Rocket, I'm like, you know what? Team Justice doesn't have their Meowth. They don't have a talking companion. So what do? The tree talks. But who's talking? It's a beaver living in the tree who can talk. So now, Team Justice, based off that bad roll, has their own Meowth, and it is a talking beaver, and I'm thinking I'm going to call it Bucky because I live in Texas. But that's not the end of it. My players wanted this to happen. So what they say next is, hey, don't we have Amish dwarves who we just brought from one place to be a general store in our home base? Backstory, in a moment of panic, my players asked me how these dwarves that they saved were just going to move everything that they had to their home base. And I said, oh, it's because they're Amish and they can easily move stuff. There you go. And I go, you know what? You're right. I will give you guys one more chance, and the Amish dwarves can go out and go find that talking tree and try to bring it back. We decide to flip over another card. Everyone's looking over. I decide to sing the theme song of Team Justice. and we all wait to the very last line to flip over the card. Everyone is like waiting. Like we're waiting for the final minute of watching a Super Bowl. Who's gonna win? That's what it felt like. We're holding on to that card. I flip it over, and 18. We were so close. We were so close from actually accomplishing to have Oakendu be at their home base. Oh, Bardic Inspiration. I got Bardic Inspiration. My wife realized she was playing a bard. Normally, this wouldn't be applicable, but I also wanted to see this happen. And there was a chance that it could still fail, so I was like, you know what? Fine, let's do it. You're giving them Bardic Inspiration. They need to at least roll a 2. They allow me to roll the D6. I pick up a D6. I roll it for a 6. The party then looks to the entrance of their home base, and they see the dwarves bringing back Oakendu, who is being carried by his brethren that the dwarves cut down around him so they can transport him to the home base. And so, to get Oakendu here, the dwarves pretty much like deforested an area around him and then proceeded to carry him on his friends and brethren that he tucked around. It got really dark, but you know what? We were laughing our heads off. So Oakendu gets planted in front of the home base, and the party is just ecstatic because they now have a tourist attraction. So now what is happening is the party is cheering, the Glockenspiels are celebrating, Bucky is teaching Team Justice how to properly cut down wood and which wood is the best kind of wood to get, and Oakendu is crying. I think you know why. Now comes out King Rufus, who wants to join in on the celebration. Oh, yes, hurrah, yes, oh, I'm so proud of all of you. Go, good job. Oh, great job. Hello, Oakendu, it's so good to see you. Oh, yes, of course. Really quick, can we talk about the cultists who are coming to use me as a sacrifice now? The table goes silent. They look down at Rufus's arm, and they see a marking that looks like a diamond that has been broken. But that's a story for another time. Bye-bye.